Alright, Icy's Puff analysis for Trail. Um, just gonna start, I guess, with my game plan versus Puff, and then we can kind of watch the VOD, maybe watch some of me versus Faust, and see what it looks like. Um, so here's what I kind of wrote down for my general game plan versus Puff. This is stuff I do versus like every Puff, whether it's like a O2 or like Hungry Box. Um, so a big focus on first stock, more so than any other matchup. Like I said, it goes from really easy to really hard, depending on if you have the lead, which is kind of obvious, but it's one of those things that sometimes when you're in a set, you can kind of play like a little more casually in other matchups on that first stock because it's like, all right, on Ices I can always make a comeback, but it's a matchup that allows you to do that a lot of times. Um, so like super putting focus on minimize you take first stock and just like out trading her is really important. Obviously, it's important to do that in every stock, but once you take that first stock and then you just turn it into like a game where all her pokes do less damage than your pokes, because our aerials just do a lot more damage than hers, especially like double back air does like 22. Just the matchup gets a lot easier. Um, Focusing on minimizing the big hits that she gets, similar to the Sheik matchup. So in Sheik, like obviously Sheik Ices is really fun because she just like our punish game just is so much better and easier than hers. Especially if you just never get like hit by like dash attack and down tilt and forward tilt. So I think it's like a similar mindset going into the Puff matchup where I'm pretty chill with being poked and like hit with like bear and fair. I just really want to not get up tilted and not get falling up aired and forward smashed and like dash attacked. Because that'll get you rested or that'll get you put in an edge guard situation more often than like her little pokes with bear and fair. Um, so yeah, pretty much CCing those moves or just shielding them and then getting out of the way afterwards are big things. I might also add pound here actually, because pound is another one that Puffs use a lot in this. But like up tilt and falling up air are big ones because those are the moves that she uses to rest normally, especially up tilt. So pretty much if you're not getting rested or hit with like a juggle move, her punish game on us isn't that great. Our punish game on her isn't that great either, but our moves do more damage, so a lot of times we can just out trade her. Um, let's see. All right, trading with aerials. This is something I do a lot when a Puff is just like spamming aerials versus me and she's at a high percent and I'm at a percent where getting hit with her back air isn't going to be super devastating. I'll just like literally trade our back air with her back air because it'll kill. Something that other characters can do too, but our back air being as strong as it is as a kill move versus a character like Puff works out really well often. AC up air and back air are key in this matchup. I don't like to full hop too much, which is something that I remember you did a lot versus Faust. I'm mostly just like controlling the space and like a little bubble around me, up air right above me and back air horizontally behind me. And just if she comes in, I'm like trying to at least get a trade or just straight up hit her for when she's trying to position for like a pound or something. Also, this is big. If you're using these aerials on the ground, especially like AC back air, she's gonna start using shield a lot more, which isn't something that she really wants to be doing a lot versus Ices. She wants to just like be in the air and harassing. And then once she shields, then we can start actually grabbing, because grabbing Puff, unless you've conditioned her to shield at least a little bit, is really, really hard because she never really has to whiff big moves too often against us. Maybe if she has a big deficit, but like she can kind of safely do a lot of shit, so you have to condition her to shield if you want to grab her. And I think auto cancel back air and just controlling that space like right where she wants to land with her aerial is really big to making her have to shield. Like I said, I don't full hop because she drifts around them too easily, and it puts us in a really bad spot just to land. It's too easy for her to like drift around the full hop aerial and then punish us, whereas like if she drifts around one of our short hop aerials, sure, it didn't hit, but we also don't get punished for it for the most part. And then the last thing that I'm really looking for is maximizing damage off grab It's you don't get a lot of grabs versus Puff, but when you do, it has to, especially if it's in the corner, it like has to be a kill. I feel I get really sad when I don't get kills off corner grab because it's like no other character has the damage output that we can have in that situation, a grab in the corner versus Puff. Um, so the fact that we're like the only character that could actually zero to death Puff from that spot is really big, and I feel like it's something you have to consistently be taking advantage of. Um, and in general, like if you get a grab in center, yeah, it's like you're not probably gonna get too much, but just like even doing like a grab blizzard into a smash, uh, something like that is better than like just like a grab smash. But the corner grabs are a big thing for sure. So let's start the VOD. Game 1 Battlefield. I think it's a okay strike. I like to get rid of Battlefield and Dreamland personally, but I think Battlefield's fine. I'm more of a FOD guy versus Puff just because the platforms mess up her camping and just like refreshing jumps on platform game. So let's see. So right away you start with Fair and Nair. For me personally, like these are weird moves to use versus Puff, especially I think especially Fair. Um, Whenever I use Fair in matchups, like for example, Marth is a matchup where I really like to use Fair. I'm using it to like jump over a grounded move mostly, or stuff a grounded approach, like jump over a Marth down tilt, stuff with Fox's running shine, stuff like that. And so I don't think it really serves nearly as much of a purpose versus Puff, especially also because of how slow it is. It's like such a like hard read to use, and it's a lot more committal than just like spamming like an auto cancel back air. You can do like 3 back airs in the time when you can do like 1 fair. So yeah, I'm not like a huge fan of using fair against Puff too much. Especially because another thing, like fair is a move that like versus other characters, it's like a big open up, it sets up a tech chase, sets up a jab reset situation, stuff like that. But in this matchup, I think you have to be really willing to just like constantly poke her with aerials and get like 1 or 2 hits at a time and not look for like, not always be looking for big up and ups because she's just like good Puffs just won't give them to you. So you have to be like really happy with just getting like your back air and then like resetting back air, resetting up air, resetting, stuff like that. Resetting a neutral, I mean. So yeah. Because our double aerials are really good at just chunking her out, you know. 2-3 back airs, you're in a really good spot in that stock already. So Sopo is, I like the way your Sopo moves actually, really, really fast, tricky movement. For me in this spot, I'm just trying to get percent to like make it so the next stock when I respawn, because I know it's very likely I don't actually get a kill here. I'm just trying to get enough percent so when I respawn on the next stock, I'm not in like a almost unwinnable deficit. Because like this deficit right here is pretty juicy, right? It's you're in a pretty bad spot. So here's something that I noticed a lot throughout this whole set is like the full hops or wavelands on the side plat. I feel like with this, it's something that maybe I would do if I'm like scared of getting timed out or something, but you have like 7 minutes on the clock. You have a lot of time to work with. I don't think you need to like be taking this risk because you just automatically put yourself in such a weird spot versus Puff where her up air beats like all of our falling moves. So now you have to like find like a weird way to come down, which you got away with it there, but I know there are some times where he gets you in like a juggle situation from you wave landing on a platform or full hopping at him too much. And yeah, this is like a spot where I would be turning my back to him with back air and like really trying to like out trade him with just our aerial doing more damage than his, and him also just being a lighter character, so he's gonna die earlier. Um, I like to turn my back more in neutral, not only for back air, because it also lets us like have access to up air still. Like it's not like you lose access to up air, which is probably our best aerial. You can't use fair. Fair I don't think has like a ton of utility compared to back air. Uh, so I feel like a lot of the fairs were turned into back airs. It would actually be a lot better because you're more likely to hit them with it. Plus, it just does more. Not a lot to say about Sopo Puff. It's pretty hard. Again, I would like mostly like not even care about trying to kill him. Mostly just trying to get chip damage. Once you get him to like 70 plus, then you can start thinking about that. But uh, I only really try to chip to make the next stock a little bit easier. Yeah, so here's a spot where you're doing a lot of weird stuff on with movement and going on platform with like the fall through bears and stuff. I didn't feel like your deficit was like far enough. You weren't far enough behind to like make the risk reward on this stuff worth it because when you're doing all that movement or like jumping, wave landing, etc., you're super vulnerable to any of her aerials being like one easy to hit, two like unCCable, and then you're super vulnerable to pound, which is like the big up and up move that she wants when you're in the air, because it's her best like split up move, right? It's like kind of her version of a fox drill, or like a stomp or something. Um, so she's gonna use it just to like get a split up like she gets here, and then do whatever she wants to Nana for a couple seconds, because like she's Puff and she can get free hits on Nana without Sopo really having a lot to say about it. Because now you're in a weird spot where your Sopo is at 40, but your Nana's probably at like 60 or something. So she's going to go pretty far from every aerial. And I think it mostly came from you doing stuff that doesn't seem that risky, but it ends up being risky because it's Jigglypuff. Just like literally something as simple as wave landing on a platform or doing a full hop in neutral ends up biting you in the ass. Yeah, just like too easy to shark, that type of stuff. There's another weird spot where it kind of got away with it, but it was like you ended up on the top plat somehow, and he was sharking you. Maybe could have like found a pound or an up air off of it. For me, when Puff has invincibility, I normally don't like to go like platform style, versus her, just because it's like you escape her for a little bit, but then like yeah, she's lost her invincibility, but then you like have to find your way down, and that's really annoying. I like to just like chill and shield because you can react to like when she's approaching your shield because a lot of them will do like the tomahawk grabs. I like to kind of like chill and shield under a platform or even just in center, and kind of just try to react her with a wave dash away or a roll away. It's kind of more basic, but I found it works a lot better because you don't have to deal with like the situation here where you escaped her invincibility, but then you have to escape her while she's like sharking under you with up airs. Because yeah, it's like these weird spots where like Icy's on platforms, it's like Nana gets or you get down, but like Nana doesn't, and like annoying, which is super annoying versus Puff because then she gets like unpunishable Nana kills like that. So I think that was like kind of the story of this game where you kind of you just lost the lead early, and I think you were like a little too antsy to get it back, which made you full hop a little too much at him and waveland on platforms a little too much at him, which ends up being really risky versus Jigglypuff. And I think it's something that happens in the other games as well, but something to keep in mind. So that's game one. Okay. Game two, Yoshi's I like the pick. I definitely think it's the best stage versus Puff. One of the things that I really like about this stage that you don't do in these games, is finding grabs in the corner, or if you find the grabs in the corner, like getting a kill. Because pretty much if you get a grab at like 0 or like, 10% in the corner versus Puff, she should die just from a handoff sequence. Puff handoffs are like really fast, but once you find the timing, I found that like the timing is fast, but it's feels more consistent than like other timings to me for like down throw handoffs. So it's like what I said before with the general game plan. Like Ices have the ability to zero to death puff in a way that like no other character can. So especially when you're picking a small stage where finding her in the corner, finding openings on her in the corner are more likely, you have to really take advantage of that. So let's start. So here's a spot. This falling up air is super common that Puffs will do. Back air into falling up air. This is one of the reasons why like being too like liberal with your movement, whether it's full hops or just like wave landing around or wave dashing around without CCing, can get you in trouble. This up air I love to CC punish because Puffs aren't used to being CC punished by IC players. So if you can get good at CC, like finding the spots where she likes to falling up air or up tilt and CC punishing it, super big. This is a spot where like, say you CC punish this up air, look where she lands. She's right in the corner where you literally could 0 to death her there. She could mash out, but like if she doesn't recognize it and mash out, pre-mash at all, there's a good chance you start a handoff sequence off of a CC grab and literally kill her. Main reason, which is like one of the main reasons why I super love this stage. Good back air out of shield. Kind of reminds me that like back air out of shield is a huge part of this matchup when the Puff starts pounding. It's pretty like fine in general. It's obviously a tool used in a lot of matchups, but approaching with your shield, and then back airing either a bad pound on your shield, or an attempted tomahawk grab is a really good neutral tool. So here's like a thing that I see a lot from you in neutral in this matchup where it's like pretty much completely even, literally a 1% lead for him. But you feel very, like you really want to just like start things in neutral. And I feel like that kind of plays into one of the Puff, or like what the Puff wants you to do. Whereas I would have liked to see you just like chill in this like center stage of the map, center stage of Yoshi's, like not go under the platforms or near under the platforms where she can like mix up between like she'll drop back air, she'll drop pound, or just like jumping above you, and just like chill and like wait to see what she wants to do. Wait to see if she's going to enter the airspace where you can back air her or react and up air her depending on where she goes, instead of like really trying to like get something started. Because as much as like Puff camps us, we can also kind of camp Puff. I really like playing super defensive versus Puff. And like I said, in the Battlefield game, just like using our more powerful aerials to outtrade her. Because yeah, that spot where you kind of rushed it a little bit there ended up getting Nana killed, just like off like one tomahawk grab. Once you're at that mid percent, it just causes a split that's like super hard to deal with because it's Puff and she just has those unpunishable Nana kills. This right here, definitely want to like not rush this kill. I think the main goal here isn't necessarily to kill Puff as soon as possible, but it's more so to mitigate the damage that you're going to take while trying to kill her, because it's like I said, where you rushing down her plays into her game plan. It's like, I think like what most Puffs are trying to do here is either find a cheeky, like cheesy up tilt rest or something, or literally just poke constantly. And so it's a lot easier to poke an IC that's constantly wave dashing towards you or full hopping towards you. And those pokes add up pretty fast, especially once it starts like knocking Nana down and she can start carrying her off stage with just like a string of back airs. So personally, I would like mostly chill on the ground and keep my back facing her and try to use back air to trade with a back air in the spot. Once it's at a percent, it'll kill. So like around this percent, depending on stage positioning. Or see if I can find her shielding at all on the ground. But yeah, you end up taking like a decent amount of damage from a wave dash forward into a pound. %17% off a grab will always kind of come back to hurt you if it happens a lot. Obviously, that was kind of a weird spot where you couldn't start a handoff from your back facing the ledge. But probably still could have done more. I think just like down throw up smash does more than that. So that was a weird spot, but it happens a lot. Then it'll come back to bite you. He's starting to pound a lot here, yeah. So what happens, I generally just start shielding a little more. Obviously, if you take like a lot of pounds on shield, it eats shield up. But shielding a little more and looking for back air out of shield is like one of the main things. Also, he does the thing where he always does an empty drift in before his pound. And this is like just a puff classic where he might like be looking for like a safe fadeaway pound or a safe high pound on you, but you can punish the drift in beforehand because he's doing it without a move or anything with it. So I'll try to point it out next time I see it because it'll definitely happen again with his pounds. But he'll do like a little just drift in and then a late pound. That's why Yoshi's is really good. You can find those kills for sure. I want to see how did Nana even die here? Yeah, so somehow you ended up on the plat just from, it's like what I was saying with the trying to escape her while she's invincible. Sometimes going in the air, landing on a plat, it's like you escape the invincibility, but then you're still really not in a much better state. Which is why I'm just a fan of chilling on the ground and is trying to evade her with shields and movement. Because like this is obviously, once you lose Nana, you're just obviously in a pretty atrocious position. Definitely seems like he's a big fan of like low percent pound too, so CCing that is also a good thing. That's kind of like that's like the drift in that I was saying right there. There was two of them right there. That one he did off a platform, so he waved off the platform, and then there was like a little second of him where he's just empty drifting with no move, and that's like the time where, especially if you're a puff, or if you're an IC that's comfortable facing your back to puff, which is like a lot of how I play the matchup, you can just always back air those drifts. You can also try to shield the pound and back air it, but because you can make the pound safe, that's a little less reliable. But if you get good at recognizing those situations and immediately back airing those drifts, that's like a super strong strat because you don't have to like punish anything. You don't have to hope they mess up their spacing. You're just literally hitting her for her positioning, which is kind of how you fight puff in general as every character. You don't really get to whiff punish her or like punish her out of shield much because her aerial drift is just too good. But you more punish her just for her raw positioning in neutral. So yeah, that game was kind of similar where a couple bad spots on platforms really hurt. You weren't able to find any grabs in the corner, which will always hurt on Yoshi's, I feel, more than any other stage because that's like the super big advantage of that stage. And I think you rushed kills a little too much where, especially on Yoshi's, you can be like pretty patient and just pretty much just let the kill come because it'll come with a back air trade eventually. I want to be more focused on not taking a ton of damage, not getting up tilted, poked with a ton of back airs or like pounded. instead of like or like pounded instead of like trying to get the immediate kill. So yeah, that was game 2. All right, game 3. Back to Yoshi's. Good pick. Definitely the best stage in my opinion. Get started. So he did a fair opener again. I didn't say anything about it the first 2 games, but I definitely remember when I was watching this the first time and just taking notes, I was like, I feel like he's done that every game and it hasn't worked. A lot of puffs won't go for like an aggressive opener versus Icy's like a Fox will or like a Falcon will, where they'll go for like a super fast jump shine or a super fast like run knee. A lot of puffs like Faust on the side plat and see what you do. And so you don't get punished for this at all, but it's also like one, like you could have gotten punished. I feel like, you know, like Dawson or something would like land on me with like a drill or something for doing that. But I generally like to just start my games versus puff, especially on these stages where you spawn close to your opponent, just wave landing into the center and immediately starting my up air and back air pokes. So here's a big thing. You do really well to get a grab, and like this is the position where you're in the spot where you can literally 0 to deather here, which gives you a clean stock lead, which is just a massive where if you just went right into a forward throw handoff into a true clean handoff sequence here, he doesn't mash out after the pummel, so you would have killed him. Instead you went for a down throw forward smash where he kills himself, but obviously that's not, you can't like rely on puff killing herself as a way to punish her. So just doing a handoff sequence there would be huge. Getting those punishes on puff is absolutely massive for sure. You have a stock lead here. This is definitely where I turn my back to her, like I was saying before, because it's like she's just gonna back air a lot, and like pretty much our main way to deal with that is hitting her with our own back air, either trading with her back air with our back air and doing more damage, or punishing her when she's trying to drift into a spot to space her back air. So let me go back and say something about this one back air here. This is a back air a lot of puffs like to do like over and over again, like drift forward, drift back, back air spacing on your shield. Versus this, especially like on Yoshi's, or really any stage, more on Yoshi's just because it's a smaller stage, they like to do this and then drift back and land in the corner. I'm a big fan of like just wave dash out of shield jabbing this landing. It's not super reliable because she can like fade away back air into a forward smash or fade away back air into an up tilt or a dash attack or something. But in the spot where she like spaces it, lands, does another one, lands, or like spaces it and jumps away, something like that, it's a really good spot. Something you can't constantly go for. I remember Toussaint punishing me with it because he saw I was doing it, so he just like up tilt rested me a couple times for it. So something you can't constantly go for. But when you like have the lead here, like say you were to get this grab and then hand her off and get a kill, the risk reward feels pretty good. Plus, like, you haven't shown the option, so he's probably not ready for it. Yeah, again, those pounds. He's getting, like, almost all his nano kills off a pound. Sometimes just literally shielding pound is completely fine, even if you don't get a punish. Rather just shield it and not lose nano than... yeah, rather just shield and not lose nano, even if you don't get anything off of it. This platform movement is like, again, it's like what I was saying. It feels very risky for like, you're probably not going to get much off of it versus Puff anyway. Whereas you still have the percent lead here, and it's 61 on Yoshi's where like a smash or a double back air could kill. So you can be pretty chill with like staying grounded and trading in these spots. Yeah, or a grab, which, you know, smash, short hop back air, grab, those are all grounded movements or grounded options. That was another pound and a kill rate, yeah. So on second rewatch of this set, because I watched it before, this is my second one, like the pounds are like standing out even more to me as the move that you're really struggling with, actually. And I think like the main thing that I do versus that isn't even like punish the pound. I just punish the positioning before the pound, because they always do the like either like an obvious shot or the like slow flow into a pound, and they like think they're really tricky with it because I don't know, they're Jigglypuff mains, but I feel like they're projecting what they're going for when they do that drift in. Definitely something to go for. Love that tomahawk grab. Yeah, do another one. Yeah, that was sick. That was such a sick Sopo sequence. Really good movement and really tricky tomahawks. That's pretty much what you're trying to do with Sopo, right? Like, literally just chip damage. That 70's huge out of any grabs now, and every double back air or smash should just kill him or grab. Yeah, I think you just nair out a shield versus that front on the front of your shield, but yeah. Yeah, I probably would have just been spamming a lot of AC Bear at that point, but down smash works as well to kill. Again, the like escape thing kind of got you in a weird spot there where Nana's now in knockdown %, and she's just get killed off of like a stray hit potentially. When I say the escape thing, like the escaping invisible puff by going to invincible puff by going to the platforms. Just feel like there was a lot of spots in this, a lot of stocks, maybe I should say, not even spots, where you just went to the platform in like just a spot where it's not safe, because versus puff in general like ends up not safe. And you then spent like the next like entire stock kind of chasing the puff around because she's chasing your Nana around. And because Puff's so aerial based, she's just like juggling Nana in the air in a spot where Popo has to like double jump, like full hop, double jump fair or something to get like a single hit on her, and then she just takes the hit and kills Nana anyway. Like spots like that happen a lot versus ICs, or versus Puff as ICs, so avoiding pretty much pound and like getting caught in the air are the big things for those. Because now that lead's super dissipated because you had to spend the last stock like chasing your Nana around because she's just getting batted around by Puff. Yeah, that was just unfortunate. There's another pound where you're just kind of got hit by a raw pound in your movement. That was like, I think the big spot where she hit you with pounds, where you're in your movement but you're not holding down. So she gets like a really dumb Nana kill and then unfortunate SD. So yeah, let me bring up my document again. Okay, so main takeaways: too many full hops that get you in really awkward spots in the air platform. I've just talked about this a ton through the VOD, so I don't need to say much more about it. But I think replacing those full hops with short hop aerial pokes, where you're poking through a platform with a short hop, or you're poking like the drift zone right to the side of a platform with a back air, is really good. Waiting for her to try to position herself for a pound and back airing her, or waiting for her to jump above you and up air her. Yeah, so like I said, with her, she wants to drift in then pound. And you want to punish that drift in. You want to punish her positioning and not like the move she's doing. And then once you start doing that, then she's gonna be like, she's probably going to get a little confused and she'll start jumping over you, which is really a bad spot for her and a good spot for us because she doesn't have a good aerial below her, and we have an amazing aerial right above us, so that's when you start up airing her. Yeah, getting more damage or kills off grab. Every time that I play a Puff and I 0 to death her, the whole matchup like changes instantly, because it's like all of a sudden I'm the character with like the insane punish game, and she's the one that's like constantly just trying to poke and like do a little damage, which is kind of flipping the roles that she normally plays in a lot of matchups on her head. So yeah, like those Yoshi games, if you were to find more handoff sequences, because you got grabs, you just missed some of the handoffs, or didn't go for them, I guess I should say, would probably be huge. And then part of this is conditioning the puff to shield more so you can find the grabs. At the end, I remember that Sopo sequence, like that was like you at that point he was pretty conditioned to shield. You just have to be able to find those spots then as double ices. And then yeah, like the spot that I pointed out where she's spacing backers on your shield and then just landing and then like doing it again. Those are spots that feel really annoying, but if you know the punish with the wave dash out of shield grab or jab, I like to jab more because it's just less risky. Wave dash out of shield jab grab. Those are super big spots to finding grabs, and then like once you find those grabs, being able to convert them into a kill or tons of damage is really big. Milking the lead by approaching less and taking less risks with the lead. This was super relevant in game 3 where you had like a solid lead, solid stock lead, and then you had like a solid 70% lead. It's like you spawned, or she spawned when you had that nice, or no, you spawned and you had a nice 70% lead on her. But then you kind of started playing a little too risky, too full hoppy, too much like unnecessary movement that ended up getting you where once your Nana's in that knockdown percent, and she can just be carried off stage, he was able to like immediately even the game back up. So literally just like when you have the lead, like shield becomes ultra strong because the main thing he's going to do to you is just grab you. And so if you're like 0% getting grabbed by Puff, it's not a big deal. You know, he's not going to even up the game through that grab. And then all our moves at that point are going to kill him or like do a lot more damage than his. So you can just kind of out trade your way to victory. At least that's the way that I look at it. And again, yeah, stronger punish game, you know, you don't even have to out trade your way. If you have a really strong punish game and you grab that Puff as 0 on Yoshi's or something, then you can just like extend your leads way farther. And then sort of the opposite of that, when you're behind, you can take more time to pick spots better. So it's pretty much like a similar concept, just like just in a different spot in the game. If you're behind, unless you're like literally like on the verge of being timed out, I don't think you need to play too aggressively with like trying to hit her on the platform a lot with wave lands and full hops. I think you can kind of chill, continue to out trade her, pick your spots really well, back air her for her drifts and positions like short hop back air, and focus on damage mitigation just as much, if not more, than focusing on like finding the kill, because ICs have kill power and the kill will come. The more scary thing is trying to force the kill and then ending up taking a ton of damage or losing Nana or losing the entire stock because of it. So yeah, I think those are the big things that I really saw in this set. I'll send you this doc too along with this video. But yeah, that's about it.